Sword and Shield alt art cards are dropping, guys, literally across the board, and especially in Evolving Skies. So it is now the time to finally pick up those cards that we've been wanting to pull, but we haven't managed it. Well, let's go and find out. Alright guys, so Pokemon alt art in Sword and Shield, they've been going up across the board for the longest time. They have been going up, still products been going up, but recently there's been a bit of a shift. There's actually been a pretty substantial price drop of some of the biggest cards in the Sword and Shield era. Is this crash that everyone keeps talking about finally here? Well, today we'll be taking a look at TCG Player, what has been going on with these big money cards. Alright, first things first, we're looking at the Umbreon, of course, the big Moonbreon. Look at the chart, guys. Look at the chart. It has been falling for the past 3 months at a high of around $635, but it has been dropping a fair amount. We're looking at just under $600, so it's dropped about $40 in the past 3 months. Now, I thought this card was going to reach 700, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, but that's not the case. It's actually been dropping, and this isn't the only card, okay, from Evolving Skies that has been dropping in price. Now, we know the Moonbreon is the biggest card in the Sword and Shield era, but with these price drops, it is pretty crazy, because as you can see over the past year, this card has been going up and up and up from 425 to reaching that high of 650. But then, as we can see, that slow drop, will it continue to drop? That is the question. Now, booster boxes are at their all-time high, but the top end cards are dropping, so it's really interesting to see if this continues. Then we have the alt art Rayquaza, again another big card from Evolving Skies. This has also been dropping over the past 3 months, went from 295 now down to 258 and is continuing to fall. We go back a year, this card's been going a bit up and down, right? So it did actually go as high as 310, 311, dropped to as low as 260. Then it kind of ticked back up to 300 and then back down again, now even further, getting towards that 250 mark. Now, will it follow the Umbreon and just keep going down? We'll have to wait and see. I think that a lot of these cards will continue to drop because I'm going to say the boom or the hype's faded, but people are now starting to realize, wait a minute, it's probably better to just buy the cards rather than try and crack the packs. And overall, the value of Pokemon cards are starting to drop across the board, especially in the Sword and Shield era, and of course in Scarlet and Violet. Another card from Evolving Skies, the Dragonite V. This is another one has been falling. Beautiful card. Look at that, $115, now down to below 90. We're talking, you know, big shifts, to be fair, in the past 3 months. We go back a year, you can see that drop. I mean, it did come from its highest point, but, you know, it did, you know, start off at around, what, $80 a year ago. And ever since, what we're looking at, May? Ever since May, yeah, past 3-4 months even, it's now starting to drop really crazy amounts. And I will expect it to continue to drop. I think all of these big money cards in Evolving Skies are starting to fall. And then we have the Leafeon VOR. Now, all the alt arts have actually been dropping, but we're just showing a handful today, kind of the biggest movers. And the Leafeon, we're looking at $43, $44 for this card right now. And it has dropped from 60 down to that 43 mark. We're going back a year. Look at that, guys. It has just been falling. Now is a great time. You know, now is a great time to pick up some of these cards to add into your collection. And these are big cards. Tough. Booster packs are going up. Steel boxes are going up. Honestly, now's a good time to pick up some Evolving Skies. They could continue to drop. They could. They definitely could. But I do feel like you can't really go wrong with some of these prices. But like I say, it all depends on condition and the quality of the card. Moving on to Chillin' Rain, Chillin' Pain now. We've got the Flaming Chicken KFC Blazer King coming in. Oh, again, big shifts. Was $230, now we're looking at $190, so it's dropped $40 in the past 3 months. Big movements, to be fair, big movements. You look at the past year, it's been climbing and climbing and climbing. I mean, it shot massively at the end of 2022, but this card has been going up, but recently it has started to settle down a little bit. So will it continue to drop? That's going to be interesting. So it's still a massive card and it has gained incredible value. Chillin' Rain is going up in price across the board. You know, booster packs, booster boxes. So now, you know, you got to be careful. This is tough to pull. Like, this is super tough to pull. Big money card though, real big money cards. And it's still pretty good, right? It's still doing pretty well, $190. It's not cheap by any means. But it dropping by $40 in the past 3 months is actually a pretty decent amount. What we're looking at, like 20%. That's actually quite interesting. So, hopefully it does drop some more. So then, if you do want to pick up, you can get it cheaper. But it's pretty interesting. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the card myself, but I can't deny how well this card has been doing, even though it's been dropping recently. And then we've got the Galarian Moltres Alt Art. I have this card, beautiful card, $123. It has dropped a little bit, nowhere near as much as the Blaziken. We go back a year. This card's been pretty stable. It has been dropping slowly, trickling down each month, month by month since the start of the year, but we haven't seen these steep drops, these 10, 20, even 30% drops that we've seen in some of these other cards. This has just been trickling down month by month. Could go back down to $100. We'll have to wait and see, but it is a really nice card though. Moving on to Fusion Strike. Now the OR Gengar's actually holding value. That hasn't actually dropped, but the Espeon has. Let's take a look at the Espeon. So, we're looking back 3 months, it was $150. It dropped to around about 132 and is settling around 138, 139 right now. So the Gengar's holding strong. Maybe it's just evolutions across the board, but the Gengar's holding strong at over $200. The Espeon has been dropping. We go back a year and we can see this card's been going up and down, really within this 130 to 160 range for the longest time over the past year. So it's not like overall crashing like all the others, but it is actually going down gradually over time from its high of 160, which was, maybe 7-8 months ago now, even more. So it is starting to trickle down. Beautiful cards. We might start to see some more of these cards drop, even though Fusion Strike packs and booster boxes are going up in value. We'll have to wait and see where this Espeon lies, but Gengar though, holding strong. Now on to the Charizard Alt Art from Brilliant Stars. Beautiful card. Oh, terrible price. We're looking at this now, $126, $127. I thought this card would overtake the Moonbreon, but it really, really hasn't. And it's because, Brilliant Stars has good pull rates. Believe it or not. Good pull rates unfortunately damaged the value of the cards. We started to see that in some of the Scarlet and Violet era packs. Charizard is, over $100. $130 is dropping, right? And has been dropping. Past 3 months, 155. Down to that 120, 125. We're going past a year and we can see it's high. Highest it was at 210. And since then, look at this, guys. Bang. It's nearly dropped 50% over the past year. Will it continue to drop? I think it will. I mean, we've had a restock of, Brilliant Stars, and Brilliant Stars booster boxes have been going down in price. I mean, it's still one of the most expensive sets in the Sword and Shield era, but it has been going down in price. And like I say, the pull rates are pretty decent. This isn't an easy card by any means, but it is easier than some of the others in other sets. So it has taken a hit, unfortunately. Will it go back up to where it once was? I mean, it's Charizard, right? Probably will, but it will take some good amount of time now to get to that 210 or 200 high. But it is continuing to drop. Could drop to 100 by the end of the year if things continue to go that route. Astral Radiance now, Machamp's holding strong at over $100. It's been doing pretty well. Okay, however, we're looking at 32 for this one. This has been dropping, as you can see, over the past 3 months, for around 40 to 32. Not a massive drop by any means, but it's still a cheap alt art to pick up. Over the past year, it has been dropping ever since. Okay, has been dropping. That's one thing to take into consideration, that it is an interesting card, to say the least. Not an easy one to pull. Astral Radiance is kind of holding its own in price. Hasn't really shot and hasn't really dropped. It's just kind of stayed level and consistent. And I think that Palkia is a good card to pick up. And it is cheap. So if you're looking for a cheap alt art, for a decent price at least, then the Palkia could be a good one. And then the same goes for the Dialga from Astral Radiance. This is my favorite out of the two. We are looking at $28, $29 for this Dialga, going from a high of 43 months ago. So it is starting to drop even more. Over the past year, we've seen it drop from its highs and it's continuing to go. So this is one of the most expensive cards from the set, but to be fair, like I say, the Machamp's doing really well. The Palkia and the Dialga are dropping. If you want to pick these up and add them into your collection, now is a really good time because they are pretty good price. Right, on to the Giratina, the big money card. Still the second most expensive card in the Sword and Shield era, but it has been dropping. Nowhere near as bad as some of the others, but it has been dropping. We're looking at now under $300 for this. We're looking at $290. So 3 months ago, it was a high at $325. Now we're looking at $290, dropping overall by $35. We go back over the past year, it's still doing really well. Like, compared to some of the others, it's doing really well. Why? Because the pull rates are tough. Like, to get this card is really difficult from Lost Origin. Lost Origin, even though it's had a reprint, is getting more expensive again. It's one of the most expensive sets in the Sword and Shield era. Reprint has helped, but it's the pull rates. This is so tough to pull, and it's one of the reasons why it's holding its value incredibly well, and people just love this card. So it is doing pretty decent, even though it has dropped a little bit. Okay, on to Silver Tempest, the big Lugia coming in. $129, you know, has dropped quite a bit. 3 months ago, it was nearly $175. It's nearly dropped $50 in the past 3 months. We go back a year, or since this card came out, right? We take a look. We look at 233, and look at that, guys. The chart just keeps going down. This is a beautiful, stunning card. We've had a reprint as well of Silver Tempest. Silver Tempest packs aren't that pricey. Pull rates are okay, still quite tough to get this, but booster boxes are getting cheaper. So the overall value across the set has just been going down, and of course Lugia is taking the hit as well, looking at around $129. This card came out very strong. Unlike Giratina though, it's not holding value. And then finally, my favorite set of all time, Battle Stars. My boy T-Tar coming in at $98, has been dropping. Battle Stars actually been going up, believe it or not. Battle Stars booster boxes over $100. It's now on the uptick. Yeah, not the greatest set, I must say, even though I do have a master set of it. $98, this has been dropping from $115. So that's one thing to take into consideration. Over the past year, and it's gone up overall. You know, it has gone up, but it's starting to trickle back down from its highest point. Could drop more, but with booster boxes going up in price, they're a bit hard to get hold of now. That's one thing to take into consideration regarding Battle Stars. And this is a tough card to pull. It's not even like it's easy. So we have to wait and see how this goes. But it's the most expensive card in the set, at around $100. It's not too bad. But it's nowhere near as crazy as some of the other alt arts we've seen in other sets. So there you have it, guys. That's what's been going on with the alt arts, or the big main ones from the Sword and Shield era. A lot of the big ones have been dropping in price. I think Evolving Skies, out of all of them, has taken the biggest hit. All of the big alt arts from Evolving Skies has been dropping. The Evolutions, the Rayquazas, they've been dropping across the board. We saw the Dragonite as well. Is this a sign? You know, is this a sign that kind of like the Evolving Skies bubble is bursting? We'll have to wait and see. You know, some of the big other alt arts are dropping. You know, we've seen the Espeon from Fusion Strike, although the Gengar's holding strong. We've seen the Machamp hold strong, but other, you know, alt arts in Astral Radiance has been dropping. You know, so there are some that are holding, and there are some that are dropping. You know, Giratina dropped a little bit, but it's still doing pretty well. We've seen the alt art Zard and the Lugia just really crash as well. It's really interesting to see if this continues. We will be taking a look at some of the alt arts in Sun and Moon in an upcoming video to see what's been going on with them. Have they started to fall, or are they still on this weird hype train going to the moon? We'll have to wait and see. But if you made this far into the video, guys, and you've enjoyed it, make sure to smash that like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel for more Pokemon content. And let me know down in the comments, do you have any of these cards? What are your thoughts on these alt arts falling? Do you think that the Evolving Skies bubble has burst? Let me know, guys, down in the comments. If you want to know what the most expensive cards are so far this year, then make sure to click on this video right here. And if you watch more Pokemon content, guys, you know what to do. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Alright, guys, that's it from me in this video. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, you guys are legends, and I'll see you in the next one.